and welcome everyone. I'm JK, not just kidding, but just creating with a K. How was that intro? I like it, so I'll probably keep it for a little bit, but we'll see how this next video goes. Today's video was inspired by the third installment of one of the best zombie movies of all time, 28 years later, of which I am more than excited for, and it comes out on the 20th, and I am so pumped. Zombies have been a very long love of mine, and I've watched a lot of zombie movies, some of which I am not proud of, but others are amazing works of cinema that have commentary of the classic trope, zombies are not the real monsters. Zombie movies have captivated my attention, and the interesting quirks that each bring into the genre are absolutely fascinating for me. If you know me, you know I love world building. Give me a world that's interesting, and I am willing to stay through the horrible writing and the terrible character arcs. It's a gift and a curse. However, my love for zombies hasn't been all guns and roses. I actually used to be horrified by zombies. Let me take you back to cute, chubby, little old JK of 9 years old. At this time, my parents had been freshly divorced for maybe a few months to a year, and my dad lived in a very small apartment. I, being bored out of my mind, while he was out of the house, and my sister was in the other room playing cats. I was sitting on the bed in the bedroom, casually scrolling through the TV channels, looking for something good to watch. And lo and behold, I found the title, Shaun of the Dead, a comedy. If you don't know Shaun of the Dead, this is a comedy show, not a horror movie. But I was 9, and I did not understand that. So I'm thinking, oh, that sounds fun. I remember liking the first part just because it was silly, but I slowly drifted off to the sound of profanities going completely over my head. You know that stage of sleep where you're asleep, but you think you're awake the whole time because you hear everything going on around you perfectly, only to realize that you were indeed drifting off to sleep because you don't remember a single thing that was said. I was listening to a zombie show, and through my sleep-glazed eyes, I saw a shadow of a figure walking slowly past the windows of the room. There was a total of 3 windows, and each one was a bit closer to the front door than the last. And I began to realize that the zombie was getting closer, but I couldn't move. I wanted to scream out to my sister and say that a zombie was going to come, but I was frozen. Whether it was fear or sleep paralysis, I don't know. But as soon as the zombie was out of view, right where the door was, a loud slam of the door could be heard and woke me right up. My heart was racing, and I stared at the door of the other room. From the next room over, I could hear my dad's voice talking to my sister. My dad had come home and was the one who slammed the door shut. My half-asleep mind thought that the silhouette of my dad making his way to the door was a zombie, and ever since that day, I had zombie apocalypse nightmares for almost every night for a week. Looking back on it as life continued, you can understand where my mental health was growing up, because my dreams evolved. Now, some things need a bit of context, but is way too long for me to say in this video because I don't have too much time this week to get into the details. But the first few years were nightmares. The idea of the zombie apocalypse was terrifying until I got into reading for the first time in 5th grade, and I read the Percy Jackson books. From then on, I wanted to be the hero. I loved fantasy books, and my dreams changed to me being the hero of a leader, taking charge and getting me and my loved ones to safety. I was heading towards survival camps all the time, just trying to run and survive, just like the heroes in my books, who were thrown into the world they knew nothing about, but made friends along the way. Just like how it feels to make the change to being a teenager. From then on, however, it shifted to me finally making it to those camps. But for some reason, somehow the zombies would get in. I would always be the one to tell the leaders in charge that there was a breach or a weakness that could put everyone in danger, but they never listened to me. And again, that was a direct parallel to my life. An individual was introduced that had red flags all over the place. and I was ignored constantly, and that individual ruined my sanctuary. As that person continued to be in my life as I grew older, it was harder and harder for me to cope. They were not healthy for me or anyone around them, but I had no choice but to grin and bear it. That's when my zombie dreams turned into me getting bit. I would be running away, stopping to help someone, and somehow getting slower, and would always get bit. I would turn into a zombie myself and become a soul stuck in a shell of a body, no control whatsoever. But then life took a turn for the worst for me mentally, and I was diagnosed with depression. I would come back from events with this individual exhausted and beat down, so I shut down. Nothing seemed fun. Even my distractions weren't enough for me because I couldn't make myself move. I would lie in bed defeated and gave into the endless void. I lived my day-to-day life not even trying to pursue anything, just living and trying to convince others that things I had no interest in was what would make me happy, and I would feel like myself again. And every zombie apocalypse dream started out with me being the zombie. I was a zombie in a hive mind, controlled by the top leader. I was ordered to turn on my once friends. I recognized them and I attacked them without hesitation, and everyone I attacked, it hurt my heart to see. I had stopped being afraid of zombies a long time ago, but these dreams just fueled the already known mentality to me that I was a follower and not a leader, and never will be or want to be. Gratefully, I had a wonderful mother and a support system behind me. Thanks, Mom. I got medication and the help I needed. It was about a few months later that I stood up to the abuser for the first time. Granted, it didn't come out very eloquently, but I still said it. That day, I was actually proud of myself. I said that this was the last straw, and I was never putting myself in that position of hurt around that person again. And I was surprised to find support behind that decision. Slowly, I learned what it felt like to trust again and to trust in me. I learned my junior year of high school that I was allowed to have opinions for myself. Who would have thunk? I was allowed to discover my own beliefs, and it was freeing. I also noticed that my zombie dreams evolved with me. I began to fight back again. I would help those that fall, and I would defend them with swords and guns and not hesitate to bash in a zombie's head or two. I didn't run away unless necessary and was never scared. I was the leader of the resistance, or a crucial member of the group, and I had say and confidence to express when someone was being stupid, and we had to fortify the weakness of the stronghold. Eventually, the worst person I have ever met in my life, the abuser, left, and everyone has been much happier for it. Well, except for them, because they realized they made a huge mistake, but I have no need to talk to them since, and hopefully never will. Now that I'm a grown adult of 25, I still have zombie apocalypse dreams, but I enjoy every one of them. They are fun, and I get to bash in zombies' heads and be the hero I've always known I could be. Now, I love to analyze them and love the different small details from different media of the genre. 28 Days Later is a great movie, and I highly recommend to watch. I love the zombies and the rage virus. I even recreated the picture of him on the bridge while I was on my study abroad in London. 28 Weeks Later was fun too, except for you-know-who, but we don't have to acknowledge that for now. I consume a lot of analysis content such as Wow Such Gaming and Roanoke Gaming, as they both do great commentary videos about what zombie viruses could actually be biologically speaking. 10 out of 10, love their stuff. The next movie, 28 Years Later, is coming out on June 20th, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going. I hope it lives up to its legacy, and I am happy I've gotten to a place where I can confidently say that I am in love with the zombie movie genre. Overall, I think the evolution of my zombie dreams to my mental state growing up is super interesting. I went into art and not psychology for a reason, but frankly, I just think it's cool and an interesting observation that I thought I'd share before the next movie comes out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed a little bit about me and my zombie obsession. Have you ever had a similar experience like this of your own? Like how your dreams have shifted in accordance to your life? I know it's really niche, but it'd be super cool to know that I'm not the only one here. Thanks again, and until next time, that's all I got.